Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. Lisa Collins, thank you so much. Even before the live stream starts, Lisa, you're wonderful. Thank you so very much for your support. Hello, everyone. Can't stay tonight and got to get up to go to work tomorrow. Just wanted to say hello and keep on doing UHA. You guys have a good one and stay safe. Thank you so very much, Lisa Collins. Thanks so much. Very kind of you. And Lisa, thank you to my super chat. Thank you so much for supporting my voice on this live stream. And ladies and gentlemen, we have something really interesting to talk about. Really interesting. And it's actually phenomenal. And it has to be, it's a phenomenon. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, hello. Lisa Collins, again, very kind of you. Thank you so much. So, this is Vanity Fair. After the rally's catastrophe, Pascal and Kushner are at the top of Trump's hit list. The catastrophe. So, Trump's speech and rally in Oklahoma was an absolute catastrophe. Vanity Fair calls it a catastrophe. You look at CNN, it's like an absolute failure. Trump is furious. Their lives revolve. Like, have I, like, since 2016, have I, like, started my broadcasts, or have I obsessed over, and you know, when Madam Secretary found out she lost the Electoral College, she threw the bottle of Courvoisier at Billy. Oh my goodness, please, honey, don't. No more, it's not my fault. Does the average Trump supporter obsess over the emotions of Madam Secretary, who will be nominee? Just wait. They ain't going with Biden. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Share my Times of Israel article below. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. And share my Huffington Post article in 2017. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Thank God he's a great president. If you have a president that signs an executive order combating anti-Semitism, you have a president who signs prison reform legislation, you have a president who signs an historic deal basically ending our involvement in America's longest-running counterinsurgency military conflict, that's the president for me. Is he mean on social media? Maybe. I don't know. I don't care. I don't really care about Trump's words, because what they do is they misquote him and then they assign meaning to anything he says anyway. So it really doesn't matter what Trump says. He just has to say something, and then if they can't find a negative translation of the words that he actually states, which is most of the time, they'll then create and fabricate their own meaning and intent and subliminal and dog whistle. And, oh, my God, they're just going to, he really meant this, and he was speaking to these people. Oh, my God. So, anyway, but this is like they obsess over cutting him down to size. They think he's the biggest bully in the world. They think he's just a horrible, horrible person. And it's interesting how he's this authoritarian, but he has to abide by Supreme Court decisions, and he wins the Electoral College in an election, and he gets investigated based on information purchased by his political opponent, but you better believe he's this authoritarian. How many authoritarians can you name that the media just is obsessed and how many authoritarians allow the media to every second of the day demean and undermine and deride and insult the authoritarian? How does that happen? How many strong men in history have had to abide by Supreme Court decisions? So the hyperbole is going to do them in on November 3rd. But here's another issue. 7.7 million viewers. Trump, this is the Hill. Trump rally delivers Saturday record 7.7 million viewers on Fox. Okay. President Trump's rally in Oklahoma generated the largest Saturday night audience in Fox News Channel's 24-year history, delivering 7.7 million viewers. How is that, like, how on earth is that a loss for President Trump? So Lisa Collins, thank you again. How on earth is that a loss for President Trump? I want to know this. I want to know how this is a loss. 7.7 million viewers. Biden isn't even going to get 7.7 people. Maybe 7 people. Are there 7 people on his live streams? I don't know. I'm not exaggerating. Maybe there's like 68 or 120. I don't know. The rally began shortly after 8 p.m. and ran for approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes. Was also the network's highest rated telecast of the year after President Trump's State of the Union address, which drew 8.2 million viewers early February. So one relatively small Oklahoma rally draws as many viewers as a State of the Union address. But he's down by 14. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way, when you look at the actual polls, there's no way he's down. I'm not just saying down by 14. There's no way he's down to Biden. If the election were today, he would easily defeat Biden. Easily. And they're not going with Biden. They're going with Hillary Clinton. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it'll happen. But you have 7... Ghostmon! Hillary is coming. Winter is coming. Yes. Ghostmon, thank you. Thank you. You have 7.7 million viewers. President Trump's rally in Oklahoma attracted over 4 million unique viewers across all the campaign's digital media channels. 4 million. The live stream pre-rally show drew an audience of more than 2.5 million unique viewers by themselves. You want to tell me that there's not enthusiasm that Biden would win? Really? They are setting themselves up for the most catastrophic failure of all time. 2016, I mean, they've had a complex. They've had this manic obsession with 2016, their loss. And this is going to make 2016 look like the Democratic Convention. Like, it's going to make, that's going to be a very happy experience. I mean, you're talking about they're going to lose in November. They are going to lose miserably. Miserably. You're going to have over 60 million Americans vote for President Trump. Almost certainly more than the 62 million. So you'll have 63, 64 million people vote for Trump. He could possibly get the popular vote. And then what happens to the Democratic Party? If they're looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, if they are looking at this as a loss, what do they consider a victory on their side? Old school dad man! Trump is down by double digits until November 3rd, 9 p.m. Yep. Kathy, hello. Mitchell, hello. D-Lynn, hello. Eric, H526. Luke St. Martin. But old school dad man, it's like, you know, in sports, you can't go into Ronald Foose, hello. 240,000. Wow. 240,000 people on a live stream. I would say the live stream, old school dad man, everybody here, the live stream on this channel on election night, could hit 10,000 viewers. on one. I've had in the past like 5,000-6,000 viewers at one point, but it could hit 10,000 viewers on this channel, maybe more. Who knows? President Trump's going to win. I don't understand this, ladies and gentlemen, and it's actually a very beautiful thing because I'm speaking to you, and old school dad man and everybody here. Thank you again. It's a really beautiful thing, and every day I wake up with optimism and with a renewed sense of purpose because they're not going to win on November 3rd. They stand for nothing. They've accomplished nothing. And nobody cares about their condemnation, their judgment, their outrage. You know, I was thinking today, ladies and gentlemen, which is, I was thinking today, there has to be some kind of study. You always say, oh, study has done that. The study show. There has to be some kind of emphasis, I should say, or analysis on emotion. There needs to be some kind of evaluation or discussion about the type of emotion that influences political campaigns or politics. Now, Democrats view Trump as this maniacal Rasputin. Pavel Daniel Swinto, Poland loves Goodman. I love Poland. Pavel, thank you so very much. I love Poland. I went to college with a really awesome, a really great Polish swimmer at my university. He was a great swimmer on the swim team. And Pavel, thank you. Pavel Daniel Swinto, thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you, Pavel. Thank you. Wally Pop! It's nice to have a president with... Whoa, Wally Pop! Wally Pop! Can't repeat that, but Wally Pop, thank you! Oh my God. Even William R. Abrams III is speechless. Pavel, thank you so very much. Thank you. You know, Wally Pop, I love you. I love you. I have to, just because of YouTube guidelines, because I don't want it to. I love you, Wally Pop. I love you, but I'm going to remove it just to stay safe. I'm flying under the radar. Flying under the radar. Under the radar. So I love you, Wally Pop. I apologize. I have to remove that, though. I got to fly under the radar. YouTube guidelines and all. Wally Pop, I love you. But I apologize, though. But Pavel Daniel Swinto, thank you for watching from Poland. To my viewers in Poland and Australia and the UK and around the world, thank you. Wally Pop, thank you again. Trump rally delivers Saturday record 7.7 million viewers, and that's a negative. Gilbert Lozano! Hi, HA, you're a great champion of truth. Keep up the good fight. I think you're awesome. Blessings on you and your family. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Gilbert Lozano. Thank you so very much. God bless you, and thank you, Gilbert, for your support and your kind words. Thank you. Chris Cullen! Emotional trigger mechanisms are imprinted via social media and are difficult to remove. Yeah, it's interesting. Valerie Rogers, Trump wins, mass hysteria ensues. Yeah. Gilbert, thank you again, Gilbert. Thank you for always watching. Greatly appreciated. Thanks for the kind words. Chris Cullen. Chris Cullen, I think that's a great point. And that is, there's something going on about, there needs to be a discussion about the type of emotion that is generated in today's political environment. So the emotion seems to be running one way. It's actually the venom, the vitriol. See, Democrats, media, liberals in general don't understand. Okay, the average conservative or the average Trump supporter is not a vile, bad human being. In the vast majority of Trump supporters are wonderful, wonderful people. That is an inconvenient reality that Democrats have tried to gloss over or try to forget or try to erase from history. When they judge and condemn, there's something going on with the negative emotions of people who really don't like Trump, and we're taking there's something going on. It's how do I explain this? It's not normal. This is not a normal time in American history. And look, I'm not saying that liberals loved Nixon. They didn't. Or Democrats loved Reagan. They didn't. But the level of vitriol, like you would think, for George W. Bush, you would think he ran on a marriage amendment his second time around, and then he got us into never-ending conflict. His foreign policy ruined the lives of millions around the world and within the U.S., but he's forgiven. President Trump's personality has taken over the brain, the psyches of William R. Abrams III. Love the Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden Eddie over your shoulder. Left shoulder. That's right. And guess who's above the Iron Maiden? Thank you, William R. Abrams. Thank you. But Gilbert, Valerie, Chris, that's a great point, and there has to be some kind of discussion as to why. Michael Lee, hello. Why did why do they have so much contempt for President Trump when on issues like there are people who obsess over Stephen Miller, but his policies are not drastically different than President Obama. In fact, they're not different at all in most cases from President Obama's administration. I could get into it, but then of course it's not part of, like, I literally can't talk about things without, my whole thing is just fly casual until November 3rd, and even then, just enjoy yourself. But his politics are described as this horrendous, but he's not different from President Obama's administration. And I could go on forever. You can go on forever. And you have the same, the difference between President Obama's policies and President Trump's policies. The primary difference is not the policy themselves. The primary difference is the apoplectic, seething, fuming, indignant reaction, hysterical reaction when Trump implements the same type of policy. They even get photos mixed up. They're like, this is what Trump is doing. Oops. Oh, that was a photo from President Obama's administration. Oh, that's right. So, the interesting thing is they suddenly grow this conscience. They suddenly grow this, they suddenly have this, this value system that they didn't have apparently during 8 years of President Obama's administration, whether it was the destruction of a country because of a failed NATO intervention in Libya, or whether it was removing more people from the country than any other president even more than President Trump. But again, you can't, like, it's always believe with Kavanaugh. Don't believe with Biden. It's, oh my God, look what Trump is doing, and forget about what President Obama did. It's like the duplicity and the disingenuous nature of the rhetoric. It's unbelievable. Kathy DePoy! Kathy, thank you! Kathy! Thank you so very much. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. But, Kathy, thank you again. But Chris Cullen, that's a great point. The wearing a verbal pretty much. William R. Abrams III, pretty much. Kathy, thank you. There's this negative emotion that they live on. There's this negative emotion that Democrats and media and they're so negative. They're so scorned and indignant all the time, and that can't be. Karenman 100. Trump said it needs to have 3 on the front of it. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Karenman 100. I don't know what that means. But there has to be some kind of discussion on, like, when they lose, what's going to happen? They've spent close to 4 years spewing out the most, like, angst-filled, angry, frustrated, indignant, condescending. Their lives are dedicated. Their lives are focused on trying to cut down Trump, cut Trump down to size. They think that they're obsessed with his personality. He eats cheeseburgers. His messages mean this and that, and he's mean. And if he goes after one politician of a certain background, he's talking to everyone of that background. He's trying to send a message to the Trump supporters. But my question is, A, what is this doing to the left? What is all this negativity, all this venom, this vitriol? What is it doing to them? And B, what's going to happen when they lose? They're going to retweet and mock Trump into 8 years. They are going to retweet him into 8 years. President Trump is going to single-handedly change American politics forever. Single-handedly. And he's going to basically tank social media sites like Twitter and Facebook. Because you would think if Trump was such a monster that these mediums would be good in trying to, to mitigate or do away with this monster, or undermine this horrendous threat. Kathy, thank you again. What do they do after November 3rd? What do they do after November 3rd? What on earth do they do after November 3rd? Who do they have? Look, it's not going to be Biden. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. We see this now every day. This is going to be the biggest political prediction of all time. The biggest political prediction of all time. But they have nothing, like they don't have any policies that people are voting for. They utilized Medicare for All just to deceive people into voting Democrat. They don't have Green New Deal legislation. There's no Green New Deal legislation. It was a resolution. It was a political stunt. They're not more virtuous or moral. So what do they have? What do they have? That's the thing. I mean, you get 7.7 million viewers, and they'll say, well, that's not scientific. That's anecdotal, and that's just, so what? So what? People have tuned in. But the polls don't show. Here you have their obsession with crowd size. Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump livid at Trump campaign manager's prediction over crowd size. No, they're not. They don't care. Like, do you think CNN would accurately depict the inner workings of President Trump's campaign? Like, you think that CNN would actually have the inside information on how Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner feel on things? Like, the whole reason he has Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner as advisors to him is because there's not really many people he could trust. And notice they make this out to be they make him out to be such a bad person. Well, his family loves him. That's great. What more could you ask for in life? His family loves him. He's the president. I mean, he's a billionaire. He's doing pretty well. Is he perfect? No. But I'd rather have his political career than Biden's any day. And I'd rather have his family life than Biden's. Trump's family loves him. I should say that none of his family has ever had an issue with drugs or alcohol. And I'm not blaming Biden for any of this, like the situation that, Hunter or whatever faces or has faced. I'm saying that I'd rather have Trump's family situation. You can compare. I don't want to go into it just out of respect or whatever. But I mean, you could just draw a T-chart. Like, did Trump work with segregationists? No. Did Trump write the crime bill? No. Did Trump say, oh, you ain't, make the you ain't comment? No. So, did Trump preside over stop and frisk? No, that was Bloomberg. Did Minneapolis vote for Trump? No. Did New York City vote for Trump? No. But you had two tragedies take place there. With, George Floyd was murdered in Minneapolis and Eric Garner was murdered in New York City. And then you have like the Washington Post and the New York Times, like CNN, Trump gets roasted for Oklahoma crowd size. What? There's 7.7 million people who watched it online, and what they did was very interesting. Kaylee Smith, not to change the subject, what are your thoughts on AOC's chances tomorrow? I hope her challenger wins. That would be absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Let's see. It'll be interesting. I don't know. Whatever if it doesn't work out for, let's see. I don't know. Michelle Caruso Cabrera. So I hope she wins. I really hope she wins. It would be fantastic. It would be absolutely fantastic if she does win. Absolutely fantastic. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Kaylee Smith, thank you so much. I don't know when it happens. What if she doesn't win with the money? By the way, I was reading an open secret. She has like $5 million, $5 million from out of state. She has a great deal of money out of state. HAKSP. I donate at least every $30 every super chat. Moderator, sorry for typing H 3 times. Hi 3 times. What is this problem? KSP. Well, no. I think the issue was, I didn't. I was busy, talking, and I don't really know exactly what's going on in the live chat. I think that whether it was Luke St. Martin or Eric H526, KSP, what happens is sometimes if you type in a certain number of, like if you type in hi or hello or something like 3-4 times in a row, the algorithm actually they can even, like sometimes if you put like emojis or if you just type in the same word over and over again, it's against the guideline. I know it's bizarre. But KSP, thanks for your support. Greatly appreciated. And it wasn't. I don't think Eric, if you could unblock KSP, that would be fantastic. I think you're already unblocked. So sorry about that, KSP. It was just the moderators do a fantastic job, and it was just it's the guideline or the way the algorithm is. If something is written a bunch of times, like the same word, that could trigger like the algorithm, or even like a bunch of emojis. It's very bizarre, very bizarre. But KSP, thank you. Sorry about that. Sparky, the melancholy are throwbacks to when some humans needed to find comfort in misery for survival of the species. They make misery when it's absent. I think that there's something there, Sparky. There's also this Sparky, Kaylee, KSM, KSP. There's something to be said about Sparky. Thank you. There's something to be said about sorry, there's this little bug. The level of venom, vitriol, the level of negativity, it's not good for the Democratic Party. They're not going to win. Get away, fly. They're not going to win for a whole bunch of reasons on November 3rd. They're going to lose again with Clinton, which will be hilarious, but because they don't have anyone else. But I'm trying to wrap my brain around Valerie Rogers. Yeah, YouTube censoring many pro-Trump channels. I'm trying to wrap my brain around what happens November 3rd with all that negativity. The level of emotion, there are more positive emotions among Trump supporters. A, because President Trump is president. Okay, so that is independent of that's, you could take that out of the equation because, or you can factor that in as, well, okay, naturally, Trump supporters are going to be happier because they have the president they want. But my question is, if the Democratic Party and media engage in only hyperbole, if they make absurd, these false equivalencies that are completely absurd, well, Trump is this because he said this, but his actions are actually contrary to the hyperbole, then what level does it go to? Like, it's like, you remember the movie Spinal Tap? It's like, it goes to 11. How much more negative can they get? And there's a certain point where if you get if there's too much negativity, that works against you. And they've already reached that. So I don't see them like it's almost at this point. It's kind of interesting. Here you have this is really interesting. Exclusive poll: AOC defining Dems and swing states. This is really hilarious. That's another reason they're going to lose swing states. But the Democratic Party can't live without being negative and without insulting President Trump. But then they can't win if they're too negative. So they're caught between a rock and a hard place in terms of emotion. They're not going to win in November 3rd. Kathy, thank you again. They're not going to win. On November 3rd, they're not going to win. Luke St. Martin. Thank you, Luke St. Martin. This is interesting. So, let's see. I'm trying to look at the poll numbers. For AOC builds political army and fundraising machine to match. Okay, so an analysis of the freshman firebrands, prodigious spending. The freshman I would love to see a debate between AOC and somebody. Like, I guess that's never going to happen. But you look at the crowd size issue only helps President Trump because, George, are you a fan of Rush Limbaugh? Yeah, I am. I am a fan. I never used to be, but I am a fan. George, thank you. He actually shared one of my articles. So it was very nice of him. Old school dad man. You can only scream at me so much before I can't hear you anymore. Exactly. William R. Abrams III. Old school dad man. Exactly. Thank you, George. Old school dad man. Great point. William R. Abrams III. So I'm trying to find out. Okay, AOC polls. God, can I just get... Okay. Alexandra Cortes faces first re-election test. Progressives work to maintain their movement. Okay, so... I think she'll very likely win, but who knows? If she doesn't, it's curtains for the Democratic Party. They keep saying signature legislation. It wasn't legislation. It was a resolution. It wasn't a bill. It was a resolution. The vote and AOC signature legislation, the Green New Deal, it wasn't. It was a resolution. A sweeping climate change proposal. Sweeping! That nobody voted on the left. That's interesting. Democrats didn't vote on it. So let's see. New York, AOC spends $6 million ahead of New York primary as she braces for first re-election bid. New York congressional candidate Michelle Caruso Cabrera argues her focus on jobs and not on divisive policies will help her get the edge. That is going to be really interesting. If she loses to a CNBC, a former CNBC anchor, that would be fantastic. Oh my God, it'll be fantastic. Oh my God. It will be amazing. It would be amazing. By the way, I have a Jerusalem Post article that I wrote. It's below in every pinned comment and every pinned comment and every description. The Jerusalem Post article I wrote pertaining to how AOC completely twisted historical record just to go after Trump in a very nauseating way. But you can read that. That's below in the description. One of my Jerusalem Post op-eds. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if she loses to Michelle Caruso Cabrera, who's been on, she was a CNBC anchor for a long time, I believe. That would be like the final nail in the coffin for whatever it is that Bernie started, which, thank God, I got out of. Thank God. It was like oh my God. It was horrendous. Let me read you this. Okay, so AOC spent $6 million ahead of primary. She braces for first re-election bid. And she's never what has she done for her district? I don't know. Aside from kick out Amazon, that was a great one. That was fantastic. 40,000 jobs, be gone. He was actually 25 to 40 and 100,000 jobs in terms of economic activity throughout her district or surrounding districts. Representative Alexandra Cortes, who faces the first electoral challenge of her congressional tenure on Tuesday, has spent more money than any House Democrat. Interesting. I thought we were supposed to get money out of politics. Wow. And then you have campaign finance issues. Of course, if it's a Democrat, you can kiss any hope of investigation goodbye. And then if they do investigate, we found nothing. Ocasio-Cortez spent $6.3 million. I think over $5 million is out of state, which is interesting. It's the sixth highest amount among House candidates. Okay, so the New York Democratic Rising Star has raised close to $10.5 million. Okay, so I'm trying to find her challenger. Caruso Cabrera's donors are some of Wall Street's biggest titans. So aside from kicking Amazon out of New York, what did AOC accomplish for the people of New York aside from preventing more economic activity and jobs? Okay, so Blackstone CEO, Goldman Sachs, both of whom gave five others. Okay, she's also backed by Chamber of Commerce. Commerce has raised more than $2 million. Caruso Cabrera is focusing heavily on two criticisms of AOC. Her March vote against the $2.2 trillion CARES Act intended to provide relief to businesses and workers, and her opposition to Amazon's plan to build a second headquarters in Long Island City. That was like a catastrophe. That was an economic catastrophe for New York. That even de Blasio, in a rare moment of sanity, he was like, oh. And all of them were like, oh my God, the Democrats performed studies like, there's going to be enough taxes, relax. And then and when they left, they said, well, it wasn't AOC's fault. And then again, she took credit for it recently. Who knows? The e-commerce behemoth eventually abandoned its decision, facing mounting pressure from New York lawmakers, including Ocasio-Cortez. So it will be hilarious. Oh my God. Oh my God, it would be so beautiful. Oh, please. But AOC will probably win. Who knows? Then also, AOC is also linked to an organization that shall remain nameless, where we'll just leave that for another day. Bad news! Bad news, thank you. Bad news. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Bad news, thank you. Great name. Thank you so much. Bad news, thank you. Greatly appreciated. Thank you again. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. Mitchell Smith! Mitchell! Trump fires Southern District prosecutor, after which he said he was going nowhere. Nadler wants to subpoena Trump and impeach Barr now. I do believe Nadler's goodbyes as the former prosecutor. I do a great William Barr imitation, Mitchell. And bad news, thank you so very much again. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Bad news, Mitchell. William Barr talks like this. If you ever hear William Barr speak, he speaks in a very deliberate manner. And it's very difficult to engage in hyperbolic allegations against William Barr because he knows the law better than most. So if you try to get into the octagon with William Barr, you better eat your Wheaties because it ain't gonna be pretty. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. But, it might even be better having AOC there. So when Trump wins, we could just, they won't be able to say, oh, well, we didn't have AOC. Trump's going to win on November 3rd. So that's just a matter of time. Mitchell Smith, yeah, it's interesting because they really, their life is hyperbole. Mitchell, their lives are devoted to hyperbole and nonsense. Kathy, thank you again. Bad news, thank you. Mitchell Smith, thank you. William R. Abrams III, Nadler's. That was a great character. That was a great character. That was a great character, William R. Abrams. They're at it again. What can I tell you? This is going to be like this moment in time, ladies and gentlemen. I was also thinking of this moment in time is not going to, we're not going to look back at this and say, God, so much profound intellectual discussion. Just screaming and yelling and screeching about how much you dislike Trump is not a virtuous act. You have to be the biggest imbecile on the planet to think that you're opposing Trump or his Trump supporters by yelling and screaming obscenities or allegations that are absurd. You really have to have major issues and possibly be the biggest imbecile on the planet to just yell out and scream and throw temper tantrums for 3 years that you lost an election because Russia stole it from you, and anyone who disagrees is either a Russian bot or a horrible prejudiced individual. But then again, you're talking about the wonderful Democratic Party. What they lack in intelligence or what they lack in intellectual dialogue, they make up for in apoplectic emotion. And that's the issue. The hysterical, rabid, frothing at the mouth anger. They can't even point to a specific policy, because if they do, and then you say, well, President Obama did pretty much the same thing. Oh, we're not talking about that. They have this. President Trump will single-handedly do away with this era of political. Like, they think that they're going after him on social media. What they're actually doing is, they're setting the stage for pretty much the end of social media as we know it, in terms of politics, and social media. So politics and Facebook, politics and Twitter. Minor Threat, great band. William R. Abrams III, Screaming at the Wall. Thank you. Great band. Ladies and gentlemen, be here. That's right, Mitchell Smith. Maria Bartiromo has a story about that. And Joey Ramone would watch her. Actually, they would email each other. And Joey Ramone emailed her regarding stock advice. And then he wrote a song about her. That's right. Joey Ramone was the man. He was the man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Bad news, thank you. Kathy, thank you. Everybody, thank you so very much. Be here, ladies and gentlemen. Be here. Let's see, it's 9, about 11 o'clock. I'll do another one 11 p.m. tonight. It's about 2 hours, people. Be here in about 2 hours. God bless you. Thank you so much. To my super chat, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Thanks, everybody. Be here in 2 hours. I'll be back. Thanks.